renovated in 1971 using wood from the forest around that area and used a set for movies and TV dramas. But only 7 passengers now use the station each day. Inside the station, there remains an old stable place you can see inside, surrounded by glass. The small waiting room is very comfortable, even though it is only wooden benches along the station walls. And every evening, atmospheric music is piped from the station chimney on a speakerphone to let everyone know that it is 5 p.m. The environment makes me feel like this would be a perfect place to set up a Showa Village. The station building could be made into a historical museum for visitors to learn about the Showa era. It could be used not only as a movie location, but also we could adapt old houses which could be made into places to learn about local delicacies, such as how to make buckwheat noodle and how to process tea leaves. The area is famous for producing very delicious, high-quality tea leaves known as kawanecha, and the friendly people living around there would be delighted to work as instructors. The Showa era could be a magnet for Japanese and even foreigners too. The Showa era is an era that will never be forgotten. Japan was devastated after World War II, so they had to work hard to rebuild Japan. Uniting their minds, they worked together heading for one goal, which was to rebuild the nation. People were poor and modest, but their hearts were rich and warm. That is why people can't stop loving that period. So, people had so much a strong attachment, and they were able to make a miraculous recovery. And there is such a strong appeal for that era, especially among tourists. We can sell tickets with free round-trip train rides and special activities. It could be a good chance to share the stories that this station has to offer. The whole place full of stories, reminders of the Showa era. First, the station building itself is made of wood grown at that area. The forestry was flourishing here in the early Showa period. Wooden crates were used for carrying fruit, fish, and goods. Because there were no carpet cartons or styrofoam boxes at that time, the timber was used to build houses after the war and also for making get-up clothes. But then, cheap lumber was imported into Japan, and Japanese wood became too expensive to produce. So, the local forestry industry vanished. So, the wooden station building itself tells us the story about the forestry that once flourished here. Second, the railways tell us about the development of Japan. It was built in the early Showa era for carrying people who were working in forestry, hydroelectric power plants, and dams. But after they accomplished their job, many local stations became unmanned. But you can still ride There are so many film locations can be spotted around here too. People love to use these authentic buildings when they